Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily Tesla report for Thursday, June 5th, 2025. Let's take a look at the charts. I am going to start with the first chart, the weekly chart. Just a reminder that while we did last week push through the lower 350s long-term resistance and even closed above it on a daily basis for a couple of days, we did not close the week last Friday above the 352.60 channel top, which was a no-go, if you will, in terms of a long-term buy signal. And in fact, you could play the short side based on that information alone. I've been mentioning how being short was the only position that I would see viable in this present environment, and that it becomes really confirmed with the settlement below the rising channel bottom that today is at 347.33, and that did actually occur on Wednesday. So we opened right at that channel bottom and continued south. There's a lot going on now between 347.33, this channel bottom, 352.60, and we even have a newly formed descending channel top that is right here at 352.71. So, you know, that lines up pretty well with the 352.60 that we find on the weekly chart here. And so I'll let you, I think if we were, I'll just jump to that right now. If we were to close today above 352.71, and I think that is highly unlikely unless some surprise news comes out. I don't know exactly what that would be, but you know, getting back to the technicals, if we were to close above 352.71, I think that is your indication that we are then likely to close tomorrow, Friday, above the significant 352.60, and it is a weekly settlement that would occur tomorrow above 352.60 that would skew our dynamic to the upside, wherein I would expect possibly by the end of the year, 5-year channel resistance at 514.97. That is a structure we came very close to testing back in December when we closed for the first time above the 352.60 channel top. We also have a 50% upside from the December high to the more recent April low at 351.39. So there's just a lot going on there. And if we were to close above, 352.71 today, I would expect, within 3 to 5 days, by the end of next week at the latest, 383.76, a 5/8 upside Fibonacci, and over the next 3 to 5 weeks, 427.01. I say expect, and I mean expect. I do think there's a high probability that if we close today above 352.71, we also then close tomorrow above 352.60. But it is tomorrow, Friday, the settlement above 352.60 that is the final shoe to drop. Really what I'm saying here is if we did close above 352.71, I have no problem in, if you're short, reversing and going long. If you have no position and you're wanting to go long, you just don't know exactly where to do that, it would be a settlement above 352.71. Until then, holding below this area here, really, where is the right chart? This is it. And I've been saying this now for some time, that if we're unable to close above the low 350s at the end of any week, that you should allow for bearish rotation to the 279.29, a channel bottom, as a 3 to 5 week likelihood. Now I think it's more like 2 to 3 weeks. Yesterday's settlement below 347.33 does present a more aggressive bearish dynamic. A downside today, we do have 323.20. I've reduced this as just an intraday support level because I do think 323.20 is now very susceptible to violation today. And if we break or open today below 323.20, I would anticipate the 309.09 3/8 downside Fibonacci, which is a 3/8 downside from the April low against that more recent high about a week ago. We can bottom out here for a day. It also intersects a gap that occurred several weeks ago. I like it for day trading. 3 to 5 day bounce here for a 3 to 5 day swing trade. I'm not crazy about that. And if you are an experienced, say, 3 to 5 day swing trader, you could have a go at 309.09. Just keep a relatively tight stop loss because I do think this market is likely to continue unwinding its way all the way south into the 279.29 area. And yes, closing below 323.20 would be yet another sign of weakness. I do think 279.29 is now a 2 to 3 week objective. objective. And I think you can play that if you haven't already. If you're not already short, if you didn't go short on yesterday's close below 347.33, you are on strength selling into the 347.33 to 352.71 area, which is 352.71, this newly formed descending channel top that is just above all this other significant resistance in the lower 350s, as I show here. And that is the play right now, is to sell on strength. You could sell on weakness, either A, with a settlement today below 323.20, or you could do so again below 309.09. Those are all secondary sell signals that should play out in the coming several weeks, holding below, the 347.33. We maintain 279.29 as a 2 to 3 week target. Now, 279.29 can contain selling into July, and from here we can round back up into the low 350s again. We will see what the charts show at that time. Now, last thing I will say about the downside is if we close below 279.29 over the next few weeks, we should continue south as we move into July-August trade, continue unwinding over the following 2 to 3 months into the 159.04 to 165.15 area. The weekly chart has a descending channel top at 284.93, and I like that because it does coincide and will increasingly so with this rising channel bottom at 279.29. So that would become kind of a range of meaningful support, able to contain selling. It'll be a 4-star support, able to contain selling into possibly through July trade. Let me cover the upside just one more time. And I said this in the beginning of the video, that if we close today above 352.71, I have no problem. Well, bottom line, if you're short, you should get out of a short position. That's the first thing I'll say. But I also think there's validity in reversing and going long, because I do see a settlement today above 352.71 as likely to result in a settlement tomorrow also above 352.60. And under that scenario, as I pointed out earlier, closing above the 352.71 level will keep 383.76 in reach by the end of next week or sooner. 427.01 by the end of June, not likely. By the end of July, certainly. And over the next 3 to 5 months, if we get the weekly settlement tomorrow above 352.60, 514.97 in reach by the end of the year. But that is not a likely scenario. Having settled yesterday below 347.33 is a shift technically. And I do think 279.29 is likely over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com. We have a stock pick going out today. I don't know exactly what it will be. A couple days ago, it was Tempest AI. Is that right? Or is that last week? I forget. They all kind of blur together for me. My son, Travis, keeps track of these on the website. So we do a lot of follow-up support with our stock picks. We update the levels every week. We keep you on the right side of the market. We keep you informed as to what we're thinking. So just know that the stock picks that we provide twice a week, we look for 3 to 5 week swing trades, 3 to 5 month near-term investments. We're always looking for at least a 20% move on those underlying stocks. If we don't see the potential for a 20% move, we move on to the next stock. So we're always presenting what we think would be meaningful winning trades over the multi-week to near multi-month time horizon. I think that's it. I am going to leave it at that for Thursday's Tesla report. I'll be back tomorrow, of course, with Fridays. You have a great day.